My friends and my family, this is Trevor Chapman, modern day man, entrepreneur, achiever, purveyor of the good life, student of life, marketer. After over 10 years in business, tens of millions of dollars, I've learned this one thing. There's too much noise. It takes tactics and strategy. You can't buy it, you earn it through experience. Failure after failure hones the craft. You must become a warrior. It's time to run. The experience you can't buy. You had to have earned it. It's my turn to give back and contribute. I share all of my lessons from 7 to 8 and from 8 to 9 figures. We'll see if it goes from 9 to 10, but I'm gonna give it all to you. Consistency, persistence, dedication, vision, time, discipline, work. I'm gonna give it all to you so that you learn from where I failed and you learn from my experience. My brothers, this is your daily fuel.
Happy Tuesday, my friends. Trevor Chapman, excited to be with you. Hey, are you getting what you want? Like, are the results that you have right now leading you to the destination that you want to go? Like, I've got an interesting question for you that it's worth pondering. Are the desires that you have set for yourself and your family and your business, the desires that you're working for, are they yours? Or are they the desires that you are supposed to have as a male or female, Generation X or millennial, entrepreneur, professional? Like, how much of what you're really trying to do is you? And how much of it is what you're supposed to do? And you know what's so funny? Sometimes we fight so much against what we're, quote, supposed to do that we're not doing what we want to do anyway. We're doing what we're not supposed to do so that we don't do what we're supposed to do, which ultimately ends us up in a spot where we're still not doing what we want to do. You know, there's a lot of talk about pursuing your passion. And so as a result of that, people freak out. They're like, what is my passion? And they just have no clue. And a lot of time is wasted in an anxiety-ridden state trying to feverishly figure out, what am I passionate about? And then, you know, someone thinks, well, geez, I love sitting on the beach. So, marine biologist, no. Laptop lifestyle. It just is this endless cycle of trying to figure out what one is passionate about, because obviously the more you do something, the more mundane it becomes. Eventually that guy with your dream company or job isn't loving it anymore. Don't pursue your passion. Pursue impact and freedom. See, you appreciate fleeting moments, fleeting instances, fleeting relationships. You and I, because of biology, we appreciate only what is temporary. What we know has an expiration date or will at any given time just end because the laws of the life that we've kind of set up. And so when something seems to just continue and go on forever, we don't appreciate it. I mean, they say you appreciate what you don't have or no longer can have, like the young child in school who someone has a crush on them, they don't like them back until that person likes somebody else. Wait a sec, you're supposed to like me. I use that juvenile example to illustrate a stronger point. Full circle. Don't pursue relentlessly what you believe is your passion. I found that passions often change. 3 years ago, I was heavily into downhill mountain biking. I haven't gone a single time this year. What if I had pursued that and put everything else to rest? See, instead, if we pursue impact and progress, innately something happens biologically inside of us, and we have a sense of fulfillment. We feel content because there is progress and it's impactful. We are benefiting the tribe. We are useful. There's no reason to kick us out of the tribe. We make the tribe better with us than without us. That does something inside. And then freedom. See, when there's a surplus, we grow as a species. When we are just fighting to stay alive, we can't engage in the arts or the sciences or literature or anything for that matter. It's a struggle to just live. So we really flourish as individual beings and collectively as a species when we're in a situation of surplus resources. Because then and only then are we able to meander to the huge outskirts beyond survival. Those outskirt lands that we can explore once we are thriving. And it's in those outskirt lands that typically people fall into the worst of depression because they're not making progress anymore. But the reason they do that is because entropy always happens. You lose the need to survive because you're thriving. And so you lose urgency. You lose purpose. You lose that funny thing, the fleeting temporary moments and relationships and things. And you fall and don't stop falling. And it's entropy that's actually pulling you down like gravity, ripping things apart, your life, everything. Because somehow we need to recognize the fleeting nature of ourselves and everything around us. And when entropy hits, it takes the stable and permanent and destroys it, bringing us back to a state where we see how fleeting everything is. So instead, you need to engineer that. Instead of pursuing your passion, pursue your passions as hobbies, but pursue right now impact and freedom. Because I say impact, and I say these jointly, two ropes tied together. If you only pursue freedom, you typically find desperation in the outskirts once you're beyond surviving. So if you marry freedom with impact, your purpose doesn't leave you. And when you have that purpose, that destination, you know where you're going and you can measure progress. And now you can engage and appreciate the peaks because there are valleys in the landscape of your life. When it all plateaus, nothing is hard. You lose your vivacity. So my friends, pursue impact and passion, but do it wisely. To make an impact, you don't need to have $1 billion. You don't need to compete with Putin for these Panamanian bankers to recognize you as a world power, a powerful man. None of that is needed. What you need to do instead is say, I'm free when I no longer have, and then write it out. A mortgage, a car payment, monthly requirements beyond what is either coming in passively or easily or probably. You'll find that it's a lot smaller, really, than what you may think it is. Let me give you an example. If you create a company that does $500,000 of profit a year, You're able to sell that at let's just call it an annual multiple, 2, 3, 4 times. You've got somewhere in the ballpark of $2 million after everything. You get a really nice house where you want to live, $700,000, $800,000. That's a nice house. It's a lot of land in the right spot. In other places, maybe not so, but in the middle of San Francisco, that may not be the place for you to pursue the outskirt impact that one can get lost in and enjoy life in. So you find the spot, peace, solitude, but people like you, people who benefit the tribe, who push the species forward. Find those communities. Now you've got about 1 million left over. Do you realize that if you divvy that up and pull out, say, 40 grand a year, you've got like 25 years of living on $40,000 a year. And if your only bills are your phone, food, gas, you can live pretty well on $3,500 a month on a budget. Now, instead of saying that's not enough for me, I need a new Lamborghini, I need a new Ferrari, instead of walking down that path, don't reach for what is so far from achievable. If you haven't made your first $1 million yet, then don't say, I'm not going to settle until I have 100. No, make that million. At least achieve that lifestyle where you've got 20 years. And hey, if you need more, you've got 10 years. You're pulling 80 grand a year now. Get to that first milestone. Sit back. Review the trail up to that point. Bask in the sunlight. Enjoy the fact that you've achieved some level of self-sufficiency so rare, not just right now, but in our history, all of humanity. Pat yourself on the back. Once you've made some money, it's so much easier to make more. Instead of staying in that mode where 2 isn't enough, you need 3, 3 isn't enough, you need 4. Reach it. Reach it. Get 50 grand in the bank. If you don't have $50,000 liquid cash just sitting in the bank, stop fighting for the $50 million buyout and get to the $50,000 in cash first. My friends, you've got to see progress. Much like the crew of Columbus, if you're sailing for the edge of the world, after day 100, it starts to look a lot like day 200, day 150. You can't really tell a difference because it's all the same. And when the landscape is the same, and the destination is so far out there that it may even be mythical, you lose that sense of impact, the possibility of freedom. And the outskirts are so far beyond the destination that you'll never meander through them. And instead, the enormity of the task will swallow you up. I'm not asking you to minimize or placate your potential. I'm asking you to island hop. Make visible progress. Celebrate victory. Create early momentum that pushes you forward. And you'll find that making it to the next island, to the next landmass, the next promised land, will be not only so much more enjoyable, because you'll see where you've come, it'll be so much more achievable. Pursue passions in the outskirts. And right now, fighting for survival. create a chart of modest wins that creates early momentum and pushes you forward on your path to impact and probable freedom. Until tomorrow, all my love and all my respect. Trevor, out.